Welcome to Epicenter, the hub of innovation in the heart of Helsinki, where ideas come to life and creativity thrives, where innovation meets community. Get ready to learn, network, and make an impact. Let's go.
We've done it. We've done it together. This is our last panel before we go downstairs and disco our hearts out, right? And I expect all of these smiling faces to join me on the dance floor. No, everyone was like, not your friend anymore. Dancing in front of people, never. Okay, but you will be joining me on the dance floor. So all day we've been celebrating new ways of fostering innovation and creativity. As we look at the future of creativity, I am so lucky to have four brilliant and well-respected artists on hand to discuss what it means to be a creator in modern times and how technology is redefining attribution, ownership, and the value of creativity. So are we ready to begin? Awesome. Oh, come on, the energy is still there. We haven't even had booze yet. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, so the first person I'd like to invite on stage is a dynamic, multilingual, multicultural co-founder of startups in sectors including language tech, invest tech, and legal tech, with over 3 decades of experience in the creative industries worldwide. Founder of Convergent Reality, he has introduced a new field of study dedicated to increasing human capacity for perceiving new emergent realities. In 2022, Dominique was selected to participate in the 90-day Fin program organized by Helsinki Partners and the city of Helsinki. So please give a huge round of applause to, again, now someone who's becoming a really good friend of mine, Dominique. Hey, anywhere you'd like, anywhere you'd like. Our next speaker is the founder of her own marketing agency, which was created to be the luxury marketing agency of the future. With her long background in luxury and deep knowledge in storytelling, digital marketing, as well as Web3. Her agency focuses in on digital luxury marketing. Companies specializing in luxury goods have been forced to expand beyond their historical boundaries, moving into experimental spaces. Her goal is to drive this change toward the future. So please help me welcome to the stage, Emma. Thank you so much, Emma. Please, anywhere you'd like. Next is someone who's creating in the new medium and era of art, where creativity of machine and human unite as one. Instead of canvas painted by brush, she uses generative adversarial networks. These tools free the imagination to create something unprecedented and fascinating. So please welcome to the stage NFT artist Jenni. Thank you so much. Finally, I'm pleased to invite to the stage an artist, collector, curator, and founder of 3 Web3 projects. She is a French-Lebanese descent and currently lives in Helsinki. One of her projects is Artform Future, which is a DAO that concentrates on digital art and decentralized curation. Another project she co-founded is Girls Revolution, a collective that empowers women artists in Web3 through yearly catalogs, online, offline education, and events. Please welcome to the stage, Jessy. Okay. I see a smirk over here. So thank you all so much for being here. Creativity and the creative industries are being radically transformed, fueled by the intensifying demands of accelerationism. Existing models, both in attribution of creative works and distribution of their value to creators, fail to provide transparency and equitable terms required by modern creatives. We titled this panel, Creality, Who Owns It? So if you want to start and walk us through, what is Creality?
So first, I just want to thank Joey for really creating this opportunity for us to have a conversation about a fairly, I think, from a public awareness level, new field of study, although that of which is very well established. As you see, all of us here on stage are artists and have roots in the creative industries. Myself, I have been working in creative industries globally for over 30 years, since I was a child, obviously. And the framework for what we're going to discuss today is really very much around this creation of this word creality. Creality is a combination of convergence, which is the field of study I referred to just a few minutes ago, creativity, and reality. So we can go a little bit deeper on those three different subjects, but I think it's probably more interesting to hear through a course of questions how that actually plays out. Creality is also the title of our upcoming hackathon. So we're going to be working on problems that are very much at the moment being faced throughout the creative industries as we begin to see this era of convergence emerge and accelerate. So that's the context I would like to create.
Well, let's start there. So emerging convergent technologies are redefining creativity by enabling new ways of thinking, collaborating, and creating. So I want to start by this. How do we define creativity?
Who begins?
So
you're closest.
Okay, I can start. There's not one definition, I guess, of creativity. For me, it would be like generating ideas in your brain and then using tools that already exist to make them happen. So, for example, as an artist, you can either, for example, make a painting of your idea or use artificial intelligence and work with that to create something new.
As Jessy said, that there isn't like one definition, so it's different for everyone. But in like base level, it's basically problem solving. That we are solving some problem with creativity. And for me, myself, creativity is like self-expressing, as I use it with my art. So there isn't like one definition.
Yeah, I agree with both the definitions. And perhaps for me as a marketer, I would define creativity as individuals' ability to produce novel and original ideas and concepts.
So I want to take this just a step further beyond attempting to define something, which I think we can all agree, if we had a group of chefs sitting up here today talking about the taste of chocolate cake, it would be insanely boring. We just much more appreciate eating the chocolate cake than talking about it. So what I wanted to distinguish with this question is that creativity is, or can be thought of very much as an organic process, and that of which is exclusive to organic entities. So there's going to be some people in the audience that would challenge that notion and say, well, we now have machines that can be creative. I would rebut that with the fact that machines can be trained to replicate a process. So you can think of machines as producing out from an iterative process an output. I would then propose that we're at the point now where creatives, humans, organic entities, are interacting with these iterative machines, and that itself is a convergent, collaborative, creative process. So I want to just begin to distinguish, because I think we're also going to get into a little bit about how is it that we experience creativity as creatives now, how do we define creativity, who are we now as creators?
Yeah, well, who are we? So AI, let's go. AI-generated artwork uses thousands of years of art history, styles, and imagery to create new artwork, right? Some artists have taken a stand against AI-generated generators using their ideas for new AI, but many people say there's no such thing as an original idea, right? So what do you think? Who owns creativity when it's created in collaboration with AI platforms?
So I'm going to go first. I do not agree at all with artists who are against artificial intelligence because it uses maybe their artworks or artworks from art history. I just think that everything we create, we're always like influenced by something that already exists. We're not all inventors. So I think like for me, when I use artificial intelligence, I would mix it with my own art. So a painting that I've made that maybe represents, maybe was influenced by another painting, but I just did it like in my own style. And then I will blend it with pictures that I find on Pinterest, for example. But then I will blend it over and over again. It's just going to create something new. So I guess that no one owns it, even myself.
It was a long question. Can you repeat it?
Yeah. Well, who do we think owns creativity when it's created in collaboration with an AI platform?
Yeah, the person who makes it is always the owner in a way, because the AI is a tool, and when you have intention in making, it's when your creativity comes out. And even with like camera, like everything that exists in this world, you click and take picture, and that is a new artwork and creativity. Same with AI, you click it and then you make something with your intention. So intention behind the making is the creativity.
Yeah, I fully agree. So, and in my opinion, we shouldn't necessarily even see AI as a machine, but instead as a team of artists who are helping the main artist. Like in your case, you, with the help of AI, can utilize tools in a new way. So for you, AI is like a team that helps you, apprentices. So with the help of AI, the artist can become the art director, and they themselves are in charge of the editorial direction and the overall vision. But then they utilize AI to generate their ideas. So in a sense, then the artist owns the idea behind it. And I don't even think it's a very novel question who owns it, because throughout the history we've had artists who don't create their own work alone. And like I said, AI is a team for the artist. So Michelangelo had apprentices, and right now Jeff Koons is very open about having apprentices who works for him and with him. So yeah, it's a tricky question, but overall I'd say the one who creates the vision, the overall vision, owns it, like Jenni said, and Jessy.
I see a twinkle in your eye here.
Oh no, so I mean, I think those are all totally valid, obviously, and what I do see as, stepping beyond that question is we require in this era of convergence that is very much responding to and reacting to rapid accelerationism at a velocity of which we simply don't have regulatory frameworks in place to effectively guide. It really requires a diversity of voices to begin to develop and design robust attribution and value distribution models that speak to the nature of creativity in this environment. So I just want to leave that on the table rather than try to go down the rabbit hole of speaking to each jurisdiction's regulatory approach to these challenges.
So are you saying that the current ownership model is outdated?
Well, it doesn't serve purpose when the emerging technologies are so well beyond regulatory capability to help create any feasible framework. So what we end up having more are stronger voices emerging from the actual creative community. Those who are participating daily and have this as their livelihood are probably the more relevant stakeholders to be forming those type of attribution and value distribution models. So our traditional models for attribution being facilitated and essentially administered by, if you will, publishing houses, let's say in literary and or music publishing and so on, these are well outdated. And they also are, in many cases, highly exploitative. So I think we're with particular formats that are now emerging within this environment, finding better ways to do that.
I see a head shaking. Yeah, do we agree?
Yeah, and also like I came from a trip and I met people from Creative Commons, And they were also talking about that they are trying to tackle this like new technology and how to work with it. So they are like working on it currently and trying to make some guidelines for the people how to use AI and all the digital new tools in the work and how to like license it and everything.
Yeah, and I agree. And I also think that who owns it is a question we may never be able to answer, and I don't think we should even be able to answer it. It's a very tricky question. But when it comes to copyright and IP rights, I mean, we have to modify the guidelines because right now, at least in US, UK, and EU, it is very outdated.
We talked a little bit about on our call. We had a pre-chat that we called Finland, I guess, the Wild Wild West. someone mentioned that. I jotted that down. So, what is Finland, the Wild Wild West? What are some of the risks that artists face in creating AI-assisted works where there's lack of precedent and regulation?
In Finland. Mm-hmm. I have zero idea. I just do it. So might end up in jail. Yeah. Maybe you know.
I totally the question.
Yeah, what are some of the risks that artists faced in creating AI assisted works where there's lack of precedent and regulation? In Finland, are there any risks in you want to take it?
Yeah, if you want first, obviously.
Oh yeah, risk. Currently, because there isn't like any rules how you can use it, as it's always a new artwork, because depending on which AI tool and motor you're using, basically it takes the data and turns it to pixel map, and from that it's already like something new. So it's not copying anything. So there isn't like any risk that you are making some copyright like crime.
Yeah, so I don't know from artist's perspective, but I know from company's perspective that there are truly risks when it comes to utilizing AI. So, as you mentioned, AI produces novel concepts based on previous data. And now, oftentimes, somebody owns the data that the AI is using. So there has been legal cases, Stable Diffusion sued, or Getty Images actually sued Stable Diffusion because they utilizes Getty Images material. So it isn't risk-free, and I would say that companies should take care when they start utilizing AI, because if you are combining previously somebody else's material, there may come situations when somebody looks at your AI art piece, let's say, and is like, hey, I recognize that's something I created. And as you mentioned, we don't have any guidelines for it, but that doesn't mean that it is fully legal. So people should be very careful when utilizing that, at least companies, but I don't know about individual artists' perspective for that one.
What's your take here?
So I've just been this morning over to Business Finland for the Finnish National Metaverse Strategy launch. And what I found interesting was, Finland is certainly not the last of the countries in the world to begin designing some kind of strategy in how to approach these emerging technologies, if you will. And yet there are jurisdictions that are very experienced in this realm, which Finland can learn from and potentially even model after. The challenge is that there's no continuity globally within any regulatory bodies. For example, Germany is not advising Finland, Finland is not advising Germany, and yet one of the key points that was stated this morning was that it becomes something of a national defense interest, if you will, if the country doesn't have its own strategy and plans. One of those being obviously a very deep social and economic impact if regulatory is not able to provide a framework that encourages and nurtures economic development. So I think that it very quickly needs to be a case in which we're looking outward toward those jurisdictions who are very well versed, who have a lot of experience, who've done it wrong, who've done it poorly, who've done it well, and start to develop within this very short time frame, a way forward. And I think that's certainly the intention. There were quite a number of key stakeholders that I recognize from the community there. But it's to once again say, this requires diverse voices, and some of those can actually even be nation states from abroad. Yeah.
Anything else to add?
Yeah.
25 minutes goes by so fast. I can leave this for one question in the audience, if anyone has it. I have 2 minutes left. Does anyone have a question? No?
I have a question.
Yeah.
If you look at the music industry, and I sample a song,
Yep.
and I sample a track from the song, and I include it in my own, I will get into serious ARM issues with the original artist. How do you create a sort of a light situation when you sample an AI image and then incorporate it into your own work? I'm essentially in the same vehicle that you are.
There is zero regulatory framework for this scenario which you've just painted, nor are there existing technologies which can track the creator behind that data which has been used to train a machine. In the coming months, you will see literally millions of tracks being added to large-scale aggregators, including Stripe is in my head, but it's not Spotify. And one of the very interesting aspects which you could also dig a little deeper into, and you'll find a report that was just published around this particular subject, is that regardless of the fact that the platform is already utilizing these types of fabricated, if you will, music tracks, those of which the platform and the major labels are still primarily focused is a community of approximately 200,000 early stage artists. So the question that you pose is one that requires us to really start to design something which will emerge. There's no referential database, if you will. There's no reference point that we can go to within an emergent environment, which is what we're currently experiencing. That is the reason why there's so many conflicts. The accelerationism within these sectors and technology is causing that disruption, and it's unfortunately leaving the artists and musicians, if I must say like yourself, in the lurch.
Emma?
Yeah? So I'll have to leave it there with that.
But yes, I agree with some parts. But then again, was it yesterday Drake and Weeknd's voice were used to create an AI-produced song. And obviously, one day later, after it came out, it got banned from everywhere. So it was pretty clear that even though there wasn't a legal straight guideline saying, no, you can't do that, there is still this attitude that it is wrong to use somebody's voice in this sense. And I think there is a fundamental difference between utilizing somebody's own voice, personal voice, and then having a mix of images from the web, like online. But yeah, I don't think it's you can have a straightforward answer to that one, but I'd say we can now see clearly that the attitude is that you cannot simply take somebody's work and then tweak it a little and say, this is mine. But I also don't think we can compare utilizing somebody's voice between creating an art image.
And also the music and like picture or image-based, they had different laws. Like if like art piece is transformative, like even if you just change the way you made it, like if it's like painting or digital, it's already a new art piece, and legally you basically can make it like a new piece.
Wowie. Okay, 25 minutes. Hey, let's give one huge round of applause to Dominique, Emma, Jenni, and Jessy. Throughout the day, we've dared to ask the questions, will Avatar affect our lives? How do we keep and attract foreign talent? And basically who owns it, right? We really hope that you've enjoyed all the panels, art classes that were happening downstairs, and emerging tech that's been on display here at Epicenter Helsinki. As I mentioned at the start of the day, we are a community of entrepreneurs, change makers, and local companies who come together to do exactly what we did today, to share ideas, to explore, to network, and to ask the tough questions. And none of that could be done without every single person in this room today. So give yourself one more huge round of applause. Now the fun can begin. So we invite you to boogie oogie oogie the night away with us downstairs in our lounge for the best discotheque in town. So thank you all so much. Thank you.